Hello, I am the Ronan Bawn, and welcome to a twitch.tv/Ronan Bawn live stream here on twitch.tv/Ronan Bawn. Welcome, everyone. Oh, by the way, yeah. No, not that one. The other one. Give me the, hang on. There we go. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to a very special installment of, Clustertruck speedrunning, because that's what we're going to do today. We're just going to run ourselves some Clustertruck any percent speedrun. I am just shocked. Hang on, let me just... Nobody seems to be here yet. What's going on? Say hello. Wave from chat if you're here with me. Let's just have a look and make sure that the notifications went out. We got some viewers. It's okay. Okay, presumably things are happening. We'll see. Anyway, yeah, there's that. I don't know if you've been... Hello, Ben VOC. How you doing? I saw you chatting in the Discord server about, the end of America. And Llama by Day, good morning, Pawn. Guten Morgen. Good morning. Llama by Day, if it's morning, either you just mean that because you just woke up, or you mean that because you're... Jesus, where would you have to be for it to be morning? Because it's 3:30 in the PM here on the streets of Detroit. But, morning for me was just 3.5 hours ago, so... No harm, no foul there. Welcome to the stream, everybody. So, join today. Anyway, we're going to be running Clustertruck. We're going to be running Clustertruck today in the any percent category because I haven't been playing the game enough on these damn live streams. I just seem to get off on a tangent for an hour and a half, and then eventually we put in one run of the game. Hello, Satan. I'll be back for you. One run of the game, and that's sort of the long and the short of it, isn't it? It's 3 in the afternoon. I just prefer saying good morning. Oh, that's a very good reason as well. So, everybody following the beginning of the fascist state, I mean, it's been, like, in earnest, it's been going for a while, but finally we're going to drop the thin veil of subterfuge, apparently, and just go straight on into fascist dictatorial reign, apparently, is what they think anyway. I have not been following, all of the movements of what has been going on because I've been having a lovely week and a half, 2 weeks it's coming up on now. Oh, it's been wonderful here, from the view from my porch has been just better and better each day. Apparently the view through the window of, Twitter and the news and Facebook and just what's actually going on out there. If I looked through the window into the larger world, that apparently it's overcast with signs of later in the day we're expecting hail of bullets down Main Street from military troops or something along those lines. So apparently the weather here has been nicer than outside. I've just been enjoying the view from my porch. This title, lol, hello tier whore. We'll get into it. We'll get on talking about it. But what are we here for again? We're here for running of the Clustertrucks and to just relax and enjoy ourselves a bit. Not everything has to be the end of the world. There certainly is enough of that going on out there, apparently. I like how the stream title implies that the appropriate response to fascism is Clustertruck any percent speedruns. We're going to test that supposition here and now today. In fact, if I've started that... No, it's working. Okay, wait. It seems to be working. Is the... Yes, my little application for the auto-splitting that I've been writing in Python does seem to be functioning appropriately. We can get started immediately in any percent. Now, if I'm correct, and I always am, even when I'm wrong, I picked that up from some conservative news outlets. That's what they're turning now. Even when I'm wrong, I'm right. If I am correct, as I clearly am, then we're running against a 20-minute, 20-second time. That is my PB to date in any percent Clustertruck, and we want to go sub 20. That is our immediate goal, and in fact, something max, another runner, managed to beat me just the other day. Oh, beautiful. Managed to beat my 2020 just like yesterday, the day before, or something like that. So congratulations, Something Max. I am here to get my get my rank back. I think with Something Max moving up, does it push me to? I don't know what my rank is, if I'm honest. I don't know what my rank is, and it doesn't matter. We're just gonna run Clustertruck. We're gonna get a good time. Yes, look at me just managing those situations. Click the goddamn button, Pawn. I forget how I was doing this. Yes, I think it was something like that. And something like that. Beautiful. And into 1-9. Thank you for that. We got both of the PPTBs on the first attempt, and pretty quickly. Come on! Yep, got over it. And in. And 110 with some speed and out. This is actually a pretty good World 1, if not for how long it took me to click some of those next level buttons, as well as the 1-1. It was a bad 1-1. Come on, 2-1. Don't screw me over here. There we go. That's what I'm looking for from you. Nice throw and out. And into 2-2. Okay, this is not what I planned to do, but it's just kind of what my hands did when I got there, so fuck it. Let's get to goal. We made it. And into 2-3. Gotta improvise occasionally. Or, you know, constantly, because it's Clustertruck, and regardless of whether you're in any percent or no ability, it's about the improv. 2-4, let's get some speed on the right side, then on the left side, then back to the middle. Woo, and then maybe straight to goal on that for a sub 9 second time. Holy shit, that was a very good 2-4, 2-5 now. Just gonna run this without any percent methods. Get up to you, look for a truck ahead. There is one, so we're in. 2-6, gonna dive down here. Take a rub, get up, don't die a second time, Pawn. It's a stupid time loss if you do. We're in. 2-7, couldn't remember what 2-7 was as we came into it. I am definitely out of practice here. Damn it. We're fine. We're fine. Are we fine? I'm just gonna wait this out and then jump it in, because we're less fine than I was trying to lead you to believe. And into 2-8. Get some speed from the beginning. That'll do me. Maybe. Go. Yep, we're in. And 2-9. No any percent methods through here, just no ability until the very end, and then I'll throw in some levitation to get us out of the level. Okay, what the hell, I threw in some lev right there. Hit! And all the way to goal, and now 2-10. Tricky little turnaround and throw. That's not high enough. That's too high. Thank you for the opening jump. This one goes. This one is good. It's good. It's good. It's good. All right. And into World 3. World 3. I was thinking World 4. I was thinking lasers. But it wasn't lasers. It was snow. 3-2. Just jumping out. And going the most direct path to goal. How's it going, Pawn? Hello, Sai. I'll be with everybody in a minute. I actually kind of started out our run pretty nicely today, holding with, you know, staying right there within a second or two of PB, which is shocking. For the first run of the day. 3-4 gonna get up to the front. Don't slow down, Pawn. I did. I forgot. I went into no ability methods. Hit. There we go. Round the corner. Push in. Thank you. 3-5. Just gotta fall this. Clip through the roof. We got it. Click the button. We got it on the first try. Always a little bit tricky for me. 3-6. And then into 3-7. Ooh, they gave me the good start here. If I get some nice speed. Yeah. Go. And then 3-8. Gonna take this truck out to here. Just gonna get the speed off of you and then go to goal. Bing, bang, bang. And then 3-9. We gotta turn around, jump back here, lev, and get hit. Jump back here, lev, and get hit. Damn it, I am fucking this up, and the game is not helping me. Come on. There we go. There we go, got it. It's a little bit more than I want to have to put into 3-9, but we're out of it, and into 3-10. Another level that we just run, and don't worry about too much. No, fuck. That was all recovery. It was all recovery from when that truck got up in my way. To you, and out. 3-10 was a lot kinder on the second pass. You can just go straight to goal. And into Laser World. Yeah, I'm just gonna come to a full and complete stop there because those lasers were looking inhospitable to say the least. And we're out of 4-1 in a single pass. 4-2 now. Gonna get lots of speed with some lev boost. Oh shit! There goes the audio. I wonder what I sound like. We're in now. 4-3. Get under. Some speed. The government is trying to hack me. They know what I'm going to talk about later. That's what's happening right now. 4-4. God damn it. Get that speed back. Ah, I fucked it up. Terminator pawn. I think I'm just going to take this through. Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. Domo, domo. Domo, domo. Shit. Yeah, this is too distracting with sound being what it is. I'm gonna try and fix it and keep running now. It's a dead run, fuck it. Fuck it! It's a good run, though. Fast? It was a good run until it wasn't anymore. What are you gonna do? Take me to your fascist leader. Says Red Rhinovan. Red Rhinovan. Come over, Red Rhinovan. I don't know. Dramacian, thank you for the cheer. And Mill Grips with 3rd month subscription, the one and only the Robo Pawn. Imagine if Pawn got a huge world record and it all sounded like, yeah, like that. This is a good opening for our first, like, little warm-up kick of the day. Hell yeah. Hello, V Young. I see you there in chat, and Whomsniva. Welcome to the live stream. We are going to be talking about the events that have befallen us all. In particular, the events that occurred directly in front of the White House the other day with protesters that basically kicks off the, you know, now he's a Hitler. Like, now he's just really gone in. Now he's like, oh, the things that I want to say about that. The attempt to create an event that would help him to justify rolling, you know, military troops down Main Street across the U.S. because that is what went on in front of the White House. Wait, what happened, says Whomsniva? Well, okay, now I am not, you know, I am not the most informed about everything that's been going on. I've been enjoying life instead. But as I understand the facts of the events that occurred, there was a peaceful protest taking place outside of the White House. It is a site upon which protests occur basically every day of the year because it's right in front of the White House. So there's always somebody out there with a, you know, cardboard sign that is either saying the world's going to end or saying, hey, how about some fucking health care? You know, I mean, it's America, it's the White House, that's what you get. But yes, peaceful protest going on, and because the way that it's been framed anyway is because Donald Trump wanted to do something that presidents don't do, that just isn't done, which is walk out of the White House across the street to a local church and get a photo op. You know, and it was just purely a photo op. It was to no particular end, but the way that it's been framed, he wanted that to happen. So what he did was he gave a speech that was mainly about how if the states didn't start getting out there and getting aggressive and you know, taking back their streets and stopping these protesters, literally calling, I believe, protesters, you know, putting them in line with terrorists, according to him. I believe that was the language. I could be wrong on that head. Hang on. 19's a son of a bitch. Okay, we're at least through it. So after giving a speech about how if the governors of states and mayors of cities didn't start cracking down, that he would crack down, that he would roll out military forces to, you know, American cities in order to get things under control to his satisfaction, he then ordered... Hang on. Just gonna go in on this then. I'm gonna try anyway. He then ordered federal agents to basically go out in front of the White House and attack. And it was an attack. It was unprovoked. It was to attack a group of peaceful protesters with tear gas, rubber bullets, and, you know, all that sort of a thing, including, I believe, Apache helicopters flying just over the heads of the crowd in a maneuver that is, you know, you don't fly a helicopter that low unless you have, like, a good reason, because shit can go wrong. Also, people can throw shit at the helicopter. Like, there's a whole bunch of reasons why you don't do that. Holy shit, I can't believe I saved that, and that was part of the planned events for what Trump rolled out onto a group of peaceful protesters in front of the White House just after making a speech about how he was not afraid to send military forces to, you know, your hometown in order to make you behave the way that he wants you to. So, yeah, basically a human rights violation, but, like, more directly, more like, human rights violations are always the kind of thing, well, is it really a human rights violation? You know, we could argue about whether, well, actually in this country, the citizens have rights that were thoroughly violated by that. So it was a constitutional violation, in addition to human rights abuse. God damn it, stop giving me that jump. Okay, that's in. That is in, and it's in pretty quick, too, relatively speaking. World 3 pawn. Winter, not laser. Also last night, I can't read chat right now. I tried to look over and see what chat's saying, that sort of a thing. But, yeah, so basically, President of the United States rolled out federal military forces on its populace, making use of their constitutionally guaranteed rights to protest, who were protesting peacefully and, you know, within the confines of those rights, so that he could go get a photo op is how it's been presented. But what I want to, like, point out, that I'm sure many others have already because it's rather obvious, is that that was not the plan. You know, that was the backup plan. Like, if they don't, you know, if we clear them out, then we'll go and do this little photo op thing, and that'll be, you know, what it is. But the plan was clearly to provoke a violent response from protesters by bringing violence to them. And then to be able to justify the speech that he had just made about, I'm coming to your towns with, you know, National Guard and maybe more, to get this situation in hand. That's what they wanted. They wanted the peaceful protesters to turn violent in response to an unprovoked violent attack upon them, and then, fuck, Pawn, that was beautiful right up until you messed up the angle on the out, and then be able to have, you know, nice footage of right in front of the White House, protesters turning violent against the U.S. government, threatening the president when he was planning to go out and go across the street. He had a photo op. That was what they wanted to happen. But the protesters were actually decent, you know, refrained themselves. And I refrained myself from saying that they were decent human beings, because honestly, at this point, I would consider you more decent if you picked up a fucking gun and shot him in the goddamn head. I would, you know, at this point, it's the appropriate response to what we are seeing now is not, as many have called for just in the past 48 hours, you know, vote. Please, don't forget to vote. Fuck, Pawn. I had to go for it after I fucked it up the first time. I figured I could pull the time back. This time, I'll just be safe, and I'll go around the center, come out, and into 4-4. But yeah, I'm not sure if I respect more the people, you know, for not taking up arms when arms are taken up against them. Yeah, I'm just gonna do this normal. I'm not gonna try for the PPTB. Because I swear to God, every time that I see that, like, people doing, you know, coverage of this, of what happened in the story and the events, and then they end it by, you know, with just, like, the word vote put on screen, and I'm like, that's depressing. That's still where you're coming from, that that's what you think is the appropriate response to what is happening currently in America. You know, oh, we're gonna vote. You know, and the implication there also is that what are we gonna vote for? Well, we're gonna vote for the other guys. You know, we're gonna vote for the Democrats, right? Like, that's what's there, is that fuck. That's stupid. Didn't need that to happen. I'm already taking a slower route to be safe, and I'm not paying enough attention to bring it in. Go! Thank you. You know, in a two-party system such as we have, the implication of, you know, don't forget to get out and vote against this fascist, militaristic, racist, misogynist, hate-mongering piece of shit is not just don't forget to get out and vote, it's don't forget to get out and vote for Joe goddamn Biden. Like anyone gives a fuck about Joe goddamn Biden. Like he's, you know, like he's worth voting for in the first place, or, you know. And yeah, just the idea of vote as the response to what happened. You know, you could put just one word on screen after reporting about this, but it shouldn't be vote, it should be shoot, you know? It should be maybe two words, open fire. It should be, you know, bomb. That would be a good word, I think. Fuck me. This is too much. It's too much time loss. Even though we were pulling it back there, it's just too much to leave in the opening there. And I'm having trouble, like, getting my thoughts to come out reasonably well and things. I'm going to start with BNVOC. So I've always considered myself agnostic, but after watching the documentary Hail Satan, I'm joining the Satanic Temple. You know, more power to you, although be aware that when he did his photo op the other day, Trump did hold the Bible upside down accidentally, so you might want to consider that if you're going to get into a church who is also a member, because it would appear from his planned staged photo opportunity that that maybe he was, you know, maybe he's a big fan of Crowley's work. It's Crowley, right? I'm trying to think of the full name there. It starts with an A. What else here? Because I saw somebody saying something about they also attacked and something and something. I wonder why you always talk about politics. Sure, there's something called freedom of speech, but yeah, I guess I talk politics because there's so much politics to talk at this point, you know? I was in the Army in the 2000s, and I'm not sure I'd be able to follow those orders. And that, incidentally, triflistic, like, that was amazing to me. I felt like I had had a prophetic fucking moment. The last live stream that we'd had, after I'd been away for like a week and a half, and I haven't been following the news, and I haven't been following the riots and anything like that. Like, friends had to, you know, my dad had to call me up and say, so, I'm sure you've heard about this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, no. But, you know, prophetic thing, the last live stream that we did, I ended up talking about, you know, what it, like, you could go and find the clip from that, or find, like, make a clip from that of me saying, this is what I actually feel, you know, is where we're headed. We're going to get to the point where our military is fractured, where orders are given, and, you know, some portion of the military decides that they're going to salute and take the order, and some portion of the military decides that they're going to, you know, turn and face the fellows who are saluting and saying, not today, motherfuckers. And then literally 48 hours within me saying that, you know, and me saying it like, you know, I don't know if it's going to happen now or, you know, soon or later, probably later, 20, 30 years, but I feel like the way that America's going, that's where we're headed. 48 hours later, you know, I'm looking at the Twitter feed and seeing, I'm looking at what you guys are posting in our Discord server, about, you know, officers who, you know, come home at the end of the day, take off their riot gear, throw it on the couch, and go, I'm never putting that shit back on again, I resign. Fucking... sometimes, you know, I'm tapped into the alternate universes. I can see where our futures are going. Upside down cross isn't Mark of Satan, it's Mark of St. Peter. Sure, but, you know, Satan, you can find a number of upside down crosses in Satanism. When he was crucified, he said, put me upside down, not to blemish Jesus' death. The new meaning comes from Hollywood, just a fun fact. Absolutely. I am aware of St. Peter's, you know, I'm not good enough to be crucified the way that Jesus was crucified. See, the whole point of Satanic Temple is to show the hypocrisy of Christians. It's nothing to do with Satan. They just use Satan to provoke right-wing extremists. I don't not like it. You know that Hitler Pictures is photoshopped? What? What, Derek Rack? But as long as we're gonna invoke Hitler, it's time for the internet to start talking about Hitler again, you know? It's a thing that we all got, like, really burnt out on, and, like, everything is just Hitler, and it's all the Nazis and whatnot. We're there again. We're back. We really need to start drawing that comparison because, you know, what we saw, just a day and a half ago? Is that about right? What we saw in this country on the footsteps of the symbol of, you know, our government is, you know, late 30s Germany. It is, the opening salvo of that level of fascism. That level of one man thinks that he has the right and the authority and the power to undermine, you know, the rights of the entire citizenry to do as he pleases, when and where he pleases, and, you know, will not, cannot, shall not be held accountable for them and all of that. We have taken this individual to task in our Congress and attempted to impeach them before it got here. That didn't work. The system, you know, was broken. This individual has fired the FBI agents who were the head of the FBI who was, you know, investigating their own collusion and corruption with foreign governments. This individual has put the Department of Justice in such a situation that every decent lawyer for the Department of Justice has basically resigned or removed their name from the cases that they're prosecuting because they don't agree with what they're doing. And what we are seeing right now is we are being shown with no... Ooh, that's a very good one. And there can be no question the holes and problems that exist in our government that the founders did not manage to address in the construction, and that we have apparently not managed to address in all of these years. Literally, the Department of Justice is in such a state that, you know, those who are supposed to be representing our federal government, which, by the way, is our federal government. It is for us. It exists to serve us, the people. They have no choice because they are lawyers, and the federal government is technically their client. They cannot speak out. They cannot say, you know, I don't agree with what's going on. They can't say, you know, these are the things that I've been forced to do. They can't represent themselves publicly, and they cannot be whistleblowers, because if they do, if they are, they lose their law degree. You know, they lose the right to practice law in the United States of America by virtue... Shit. Fuck! I hit the wrong button. I hit the pause button. By virtue of having, you know, betrayed their clients' rights and privileges to, you know, that they can't speak. So what we end up with in the Department of Justice, under, you know, Trump's cronyism, has been that any lawyer who has, you know, a backbone and who believes in any of the things, you know, like the law, has really the option of either shutting up and just taking it and being the, you know, foot soldier and servant of people who are trying to destroy the law, or they leave. And in either of those instances, we're kind of fucked. Made it. In either of those instances, we're kind of fucked. Because if they leave, then we have no one left there with scruples or integrity. And if they stay, they can't do anything. You know, anything legally anyway. Like, we're fucked, they're fucked, the whole system is fucked. And all it took was basically the election of one asshole. And the Federal Department of Justice now fails to function fundamentally. So we've got some fucking problems in the, you know, structure of our government. I mean, that is basically what the whole concept of founding the government and, you know, founders and things like that, that is everything that was going on there. You're trying to design a system that will be able to sustain and survive and maintain across God knows what. Things you can't imagine. Horrible people coming into power. People with vested interests working from inside trying to use the people's power to, you know, accomplish their own goals. That's the whole thing. That's why it's such a delicate and difficult job constructing a government. Hang on. There we go. That's a good one. I'm getting better at 3-9 when I can slow down and think about it. I'm in. And, you know, this is like, I'm now talking about the bright side of what's going on here. Like, this is the bright side, is that there is no question, there can be no challenge, there can be no conversation, dialogue, or debate over the myriad ways that our governmental systems do not work and require immediate repair. That is definitely not something you want to do on this level. Kids, don't try that at home. Holy shit, that was not intentional. Alright, 4-2. You know, if the FBI can be made to stop investigating you by firing the people who are investigating you, if the Department of Justice can be neutered by cronyism of just appointment of a new guy to run the office who's going to be your friend, and who's going to be your buddy, and who's going to take care of you first and foremost, and who's going to take care of your friends, because your friends are now being prosecuted because they were involved in colluding with the foreign state and admitted to doing it so that you could get elected, and here we are! And, like, if the system can fall apart to this extent, then the system is aborked. Please let me through. I got through. We're into 4-6. Alright. Those lasers are deadly even above where they are. They're invisible, but they're there. Me up and over and out. And into 4-7. Little rub there, a little pop here. Nose into the side of you, big old jump. Wow, that's over all the lasers. That's a hard jump to get. We're at 10-6. Now 4-8, don't fuck this up, pawn. It's a simple one. You just slow down a little bit here. Go up and over. Go up and over. Up and over. Under and out. That's all you need to do. 4-9. Go for the mega jump. If you don't get it, fall back. I think I got it, though. Just barely, but I did. Okay. And 4-10, reset as we come into the level. Pop, pop, run off, go forward, jump, hold the spacebar for that pop that sends me all the way out here to the front trucks, right strafe out, past these walls as they're spinning open, and we're out in a sub-12 time, 11.9. And into World 5 Medieval World. 5-2, I'm going to try and pick up some speed. Whoa! Come on. There we go. Sub-8 second out of there. That's fine, considering how much I struggled with it. Going to go off the right side this time because of how it was looking. Straight into goal. 5-4 now. Just want speed that I can come off of you. Get up to these guys, get down, touch down on one more truck, and then I can go straight out. 5-5. Little bit random what's going to happen here. As you can see, okay, that works though. Here, have a truck, by the way. Did you like that? Good, enjoy it for me. At 5-6, just need a mega jump off the inside of this truck. Didn't get much of one. Ooh, didn't get much of one at all. We're still out. 5-7, gonna try and go up and over the castle wall with a mega jump from here. Got it. Big one, too. Wow, that was a risk, and I decided to take it. 5-8, mega jump from here. Got all the height I can go straight to goal on this. With just a little bit of levitation on the way. 5-9. Holy shit, that was beautiful for a 9-7. Now 5-10, I'm gonna stop here. Get out, try and get hit by that. It's not good. But I can work it. 6. Oh my god, I got 6-1. I knew what I wanted to do. I made sure to throw the truck high. It's important to throw it high. And we got it on the first throw. This is going to be a nice little time save for us on 6-1. And we're in. 6-2. Can I do this? Nope. God damn it, my fucking hand was... just go, pawn. Just go. Fuck. That turned into nothing. Okay. God damn it. Fucking 6-3. I pull off a nice 6-1 and then give it all back on 6-3. Ah. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Alright, 6-4. I started this wrong. I'm just gonna get on the outside and float it in, because I didn't start that correctly for the fastest fruit. 6-5. Nope. Definitely not what I want to happen. Give me a jump that'll get me over the mess so that I can go in. 6-6. We just jump out to the left and levitate our way to goal. We're in. 6-7. Little rub on the left there. And then a fall. Come off the spacebar to fall faster. Steer this sucker in. Nice 10-point. Oh, out of there. Loving it. Now, 6-8. Tilty World. Whew! Almost got myself killed there. Okay, back it up, back it in. Let me begin. I came to win. Challenge me. That's a sin. 6-9. Is it battle me that's a sin? Or challenge me? Correct my grammar. That's a sin. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. 6-10. Okay. Oof. We're in. And into Sci-Fi World. Very nice start there. That's good and fast. We just might gold this again. We've been golding this like every time I come through it. Every time I come through it, I try and save and, you know, scrape another 1/10 of a second off. 7-2. I didn't click the next level button very fast, but we did gold it. Oh, God. I know my game. I know my game. Okay. 7-2, 7-3. We're just gonna fall. Try and catch you. Keep the speed. Diagonal cut across. Off the front of this guy. Last trucking out. 7-4. Good. Late missile. Late missile helps me. Okay. Okay. That's fine. 7-5 now. Thank you. Thank you for the bump. Looks like I was gonna need it. Oh! Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Saved my bacon. Saved my own bacon there. Woo! Jesus Christ. Thank you for that. Alright, turn the corner. Get close. Throw it. That was awful. I'm gonna do it again. I can get there faster if I do it again. Yep. That's way better. Catch the goal that is underneath all of this noise. Into 7-7. Hit. I'm gonna do a little lev right in the middle there, so that I can come up right over the front edge of this. Come off of the spacebar early so that we fall faster. Turn back a little bit to scrub forward velocity so that we can steer into the goal here for a 20.3. 7-8. Gotta get this. Okay. It's not great, but I can use it. It's just gonna cost me a little bit more levitation. Okay. 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 Careful use of lev here. Make sure you got enough to get there. We got it. Yes! How you like that? How you like my new method there? All skill, no luck. All skill, no luck. Let's go. Boom, boom. All skill, no luck. Thank you. Thank you. Boom. We're in. And into 8-1. And they gave me the nice hop to start as well. Make sure you got some speed here. No! Shit! It ate one of my jumps. Try that again. Did not get hit by that. I'm always trying to take that safely, and it always ends up kind of costing me something. But eventually it will come in, and it'll work. 8-2. We're coming up on a nasty one, 8-3 right here. Fuck, I got it! 8-4. Holy shit, I got 8-3 first try. Okay, good enough. Potentially, anyway! Alright. We're in. Eight. Nine. Not at all what I want to happen there. Shit. Worked it, made it work. No, come on now. Okay, welcome to hell. Whoa. Can you hit me out there? I'm not gonna waste time waiting on it. Fuck! Got pinballed. God damn it. Alright, fuck it. God damn it. Okay. Reset 9-4 as we come in. Whoa! We're gonna have to watch out for the toenail up here. I'm gonna have to wait for it. Just for safety's sake. 9-5. 1, 2, 3. Go. And 6, we just climb the hill. Nine, 7, reset. Fuck! God damn it, 9-7. Worst level in the game. Nine, 8. Shit, I was supposed to do a PPTB. 9-9. Damn it. Okay, final level. Damn it. Back up. Shit. Reset. Not enough. That's enough. Okay, don't fuck this up, Juan. You already fucked it up once. Sub 20! Sub 20, even with all the struggling on 910, we did it! I got my sub 20 clear. Holy shit! God. I gave up fucking, what would it have been, a 1930? I'm just missing that fucking push in. I came down at too high an angle.
You may have lost the better PB.
But supposed to say you may have lost the better PB. Well, that's just a downer. Thank you, Jermacian, for the cheer. That's a 1958-58. It's still a PB, and it is the sub 20 that we've been going for. That is 22 seconds faster. 23 probably, with the delay for me to stop the kill the set in the final split. Little Magnets with the sub 4 months now, subscribed at tier 2. Tier 2, that's the costs more. Thank you, Little Magnets. I found the button for this. Yeah, sub 20 run. Thank you, Little Magnets. We got it. We got it. Damn, I threw a lot away there on that 910. I friggin' had the PPTB. And I just, I was nervous. I wanted to not. And I knew I had a backup for it. So I was like, I'm going to hit it at this angle because you get all that downward velocity and to go straight into the side of it, It's real easy to die clipping the wrong things. It came in too hard an angle, through that damn truck. And if I would have gotten the truck in, that would have been fine too. That would have been a really cool way to end it, in fact. I've been really happy with that. In any event, that is a 22.3 second time save, probably closer to a 23 second time save, and our first sub 20 minute run. I'm a happy boy. On the leaderboards right now, I'm apparently 11th with my 2020. This run will move me back up to, and I just had like 8th or 7th or something, but something Max and Noah submitted his, that pushed me up, Dark Age. So yeah, I will now be in 9th. I'll be pushing Noah back out of my way a little bit, and something Max, I'm coming for you. I could have beat you right here, right now, today, and had your 8th place rank. I could have beaten 7th place rank, probably. I don't know. You guys would know when it was that it looked like I could have gotten that in, but I'm guessing it was a 1930 something. I could have had 7th right there. Coming in 45, having 45.9 seconds time save, 45 seconds time save coming into 910. If I got the first PPTB in there, boom, we're like legitimately threatening Connor's 6th place run, which is now 6th because there's been so much movement. Apparently Wolfie is now on the, is that a new thing? Wolfie's on the any % leaderboards? I don't remember him being here before.
You beat Noah, though. I
did beat Noah. Thank you, Jermacian, pointing that out, because that is worth its weight in Noah. Icicle AI, is that a glitch where you only have to hit it once? The guide says 2 hits, but all speedruns only show it being hit once. Indeed. It's exactly what it is. By coming in at a harsh angle like that, like basically parallel to it, a lot of different runners express it differently, but, my thought is that what you're actually doing is you're sort of entering into the button, hitting it once, and then the button the reaction is that the button pushes you up, and because you're already deep in the button, as you exit it, you hit it again. That's my interpretation. It could be that there are 2 different models of button, and one spawns after the other, but basically you are pushing yourself into the button's space and saying, give us a hug, baby, which allows you to hit the button twice at once. Wait, is this the end of the stream, says Sai? Because I got a 20-minute time and a new PB in 51 minutes of live streaming? 52 minutes of live streaming? You're damned wrong. No, we're going to keep running. We're going to keep running. It's early in the day for me to pull in my sub 20. I am going to keep running on this, but it also is perfect timing for us to take a live stream break. And you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, let's leave these splits right as they are. We'll take the live stream break. When we come back, we will look over those splits, see how I did, where I was losing time, where I was gaining time, and see what those golds are that I noted as, as I was scrolling there. So stay with me for a run review followed by more speed run. Apparently, we can quite easily beat this 1958-minute run, because that was like only my third attempt of the day, and I really fucked up 9:10. So, can we beat it? You're goddamn right we can. Don't go anywhere. 7-minute live stream break, opportunity to pee is what I'm gonna go do.
Talk about the shirt.
What shirt? I don't wear clothing. I'm a nudist. What you're seeing right now is Twitch. It's a thing. Every time Twitch detects nipples, they just put a shirt over. What are you seeing? Because I don't know. It just, you see it, but I don't see it. What is it? Because this is, as far as, this is just chest hair. That's all I'm touching right now. We'll be back in 7 minutes. Don't go anywhere. Pawn not out. Exterminate! Exterminate! Hello, I am the Ronin Pawn, and welcome back to a twitch.tv/Ronin Pawn live stream here on twitch.tv. Damn it. Damn it. The things they reset when I went to do all the buttons I press in order to, with some of them send signals to live split to, and so it reset. We can't do the walkthrough and see the golds and think about our run. Unless we pulled up, shut up! Unless we pulled up the recorded run and did that, but I don't think we're going to do that today. So run review, that is a good one. Huh? Sub-friggin' 20-minute time, we did it. I've been going for that last 4 live streams or something since we had a 2020. Well, even before we had a 2020, it was all about the sub-20-minute run. We now have a 1958, which puts us at 9th on the leaderboard. And man, since I started running any percent, the number of people moving up these any percent leaderboards now, it is significant. Unexpected Doctor Who reference, I like it. Ongoing joke every time I hear Robo-Pawn, indeed. So yeah, we're running Clustertruck. I just PB'd, put me up another, several ranks on the leaderboard. Just the last time that we ran, like my time, or maybe, before that, I was like 8th or something when I got that time, and this is how much, activity has been on the any percent leaderboard recently. So if you've been thinking about running Clustertruck, apparently it's a good time to run Clustertruck. Am I still 3rd on knowability? Yeah, okay. Just making sure nobody's stealing everything that I've ever done. Battering what I've done. Not as unexpected as Pawn busting out some MC Chris, Cruzimos Espa, in my DeLorean. But yeah, we're going to keep running because we've only been here, we got that run in 50 minutes, after having been away from the game, relatively speaking. I've done 1 run in 2 weeks, and that was probably the 4th total run, hell yeah. But I do want to keep talking about, the state of America right now. Build your walls high, other nations, because we're definitely not going to, Mexico's not building any walls for us, and, things are going off the fucking rails over here. Why did you go, for like a week, says Vexian64? Why wasn't I around for a week? Should I say? Should I speak of it? Should I speak of my happiness? So I met a girl on OkCupid, and we've been, let's just say, dating. And so there have been things going on in my life that have been, it was so good too. I haven't been like away from just live streaming Jesus Christ, Pawn. From live streaming constantly, and just like everything has been, with big quotes around it, because I do what I enjoy and I enjoy what I do. But, everything has been quote-unquote work for so long, and I didn't realize it. That basically if I woke up and I had the energy and the strength, because, I have chronic fatigue syndrome, aka systemic exertion intolerance disease. Fuck. Let's just reset this run. Aka myalgic encephalomyelitis. But so if I wake up and I find that I have energy for it, it's a day that I'm going to live stream. Like, that makes my day. That has been, okay, that's what I'll do then, with the fact that I'm not couch-bound for the whole fucking day. And, having someone and something to get up to and look forward to has been a, massive and well-needed change. So, yeah, there's a girl in my life. Sorry, ladies. We'll have to keep it on the down low if... but yeah, that's where I've been for, that's the time that I've been taken off. Has been, now the real question, is she watching the stream? I think she's actually cleaning right now. But, to get back to the much, more, the things in life that I chagrin as opposed to, celebrate how fortunate I've recently become. You know, we are in a position in America right now where we have a president who, as early as like late February, early March, was talking about, well, maybe because of the virus, we push off the elections. You know, I could just keep holding office for a bit longer until things settle down. As early as then, he was talking about it, and you know what? Like, here's the thing. That's not a bad thing, necessarily. Not like that we'll just cancel that's not gonna work, Juan. That we'll just cancel the fucking election. But the fact that he was thinking about it back then, that the executive branch, if we, you know, trade the man in for the office, you know, they should be thinking about that. They should be doing everything, goddammit, within their power to, you know, to see that coming and to assure and make sure that the American people are able to have an election, a fair, equal access election. That's what should have been happening. And, you know, here's the thing. He was talking about it on Twitter in early March, late February. Here we are in June, and they're talking about how, you know, now they're actually talking about what to do about it, and they're talking about how problematic and how much voter corruption and how many things could go wrong if we let people vote by mail. When he opened his big fat fucking mouth back in late Feb, early Mar, I was immediately on top of that going, okay, now what we have is on record evidence that the executive branch is aware that this is going to be an issue, and now let's see what they fucking do about it. And for 3-4 months, what did they do? Because, you know, as far as I can see, where we are right now, they did jack all, and now people who tend to be on a certain side of the political aisle, it's weird that this thing like cuts exactly down the middle of the blues and the reds, that it seems to be where you see the opinion that, you know, we need to not have people vote from home. It all seems to be coming from the conservative bit, from the Republican end of things. That's weird, isn't it? It's weird that like one of the two parties in this fucked up two-party system, but just one of them seems to be pro not allowing the American populace to have access to the vote. Isn't that interesting? That you know, I don't see anybody in the blue ties saying, you know, this could be very problematic. We don't want people cheating on the vote and things like that. I do see a number of Republicans coming out. I see Republican mayors and senators and stepping forward, and governors stepping forward to say, if you don't feel comfortable voting because of the virus, then, you know, maybe you just shouldn't vote. No, you can't get a ballot by mail, but, you know, it's reasonable and fair. If you don't feel comfortable, I'm not going to get in on that. If you don't feel comfortable, shit. Yeah, this is a stupid run now that I should just reset. If you don't feel comfortable going to the polls, then, you know, maybe you're right, and maybe you should just stay home. Maybe you should just stay home. Interesting which side of the aisle that's coming from. Which side of the aisle apparently thinks that the, you know, voters having participation in democracy would be problematic, isn't it? But, you know, most importantly, as I say, we had the fucking President of the United States of America on Twitter blowing up about, well, maybe we should just, you know, cancel the election for a little while until this thing blows over, as far back as early 2020. Now we're, you know, dead center middle of 2020, and did they, when he was thinking about it, did they do anything to, like, formulate a plan, come up with a strategy? Did they do what they should have done and spend copious amounts of effort to make sure that they were setting up systems to guarantee that the election, that our democracy is still in place? Did they? It doesn't look like it does. Doesn't look like that's what happened. Doesn't look like any of that happened to me. I mean, maybe I'm. Am I wearing horse blinders or something? We know that they were talking about it 3-4 months ago, but only where it, you know, turned toward maybe we shouldn't have an election at all. And here we are, you know, ever encroaching upon what is an election that is 3 months out now. And we're talking about how it would be dangerous if the American people were allowed to vote by mail. Interesting. Is it not? That won't go. Need height. That's height. That goes. Ooh, just barely, though. Had to go on the left side to avoid that rock. And into World 3, 7 seconds ahead of our new PB that we just got earlier. And I actually did that, correctly. I jumped out in the right direction. So we've got that going on. We've got literally a party and, the, nouveau wannabe Hitler, trying to make sure that if there is an election, it is as unfair as it possibly can be, and as few people as possible have access to the system. At the same time as he just ordered federal military troops to attack a group of American citizens exercising their legal right, their constitutionally guaranteed right to protest peaceably as they were. So, yeah, it's, there's no question anymore. Someone needs to fucking put a bullet in his head. And that's what pisses me off, is that I have seen coverage of this event, and I've seen people making, very good points. What are you doing, Pawn? Well, apparently I'm fucking this level up. Don't need to do that in any percent. I have seen people talking about what needs to happen, and giving recommendations and things, and saying, just remember, vote. That's the important thing to do, is vote. That's not the important thing to do. The important thing to do is to, cut off the head. Cut off the head. Now. Okay? Kill Trump, is what I'm saying. Kill Trump. Openly. Hi. Kill Trump. That's what needs to happen. We are talking about a man who already has a death toll associated with his name, a man who has spoken out and encouraged hate crimes in the streets of America, a man who has done everything within his power to destroy our fucking government and our nation from within, from the position of power that he begged to be a servant, has ripped apart the DOJ, has destroyed the FBI, has undermined the concept of just what is and is not fucking journalism and truth, and the number of things that are to his credit, that are part of his infamy at this point. There is no question of what needs to happen. And it's not that you get out and vote against him. It's what we need is a Secret Service agent who's just been trying to get through it, who's just been trying to hold their shit together, who's been saying, you know what, I'm in here, I protect the office, that's my job, it's not the man, it's the office, I'm just gonna finish my fucking, he's gonna be out soon, and who has now seen this shit, one Secret Service agent, and I have no doubt that there are many who would be just thrilled to pull a fucking Glock, turn around, and end it. One of them to have the balls to do what they've wanted to do for a good goddamned long time. That's what needs to happen, because anything short of that is not justice. It's not equal. It's not reparative. The damage that this individual has done to the psyche of America, to our faith in each other, our faith in, our own government, in our democracy, it cannot be answered with... We already tried to fucking impeach him, motherfucker. We already tried to use the systems of law to make it happen. What we found was that cronyism and party politics is too much to overcome, even when you've got someone who's all of the people who were involved in his fucking campaign for running, so many have been indicted, prosecuted, and convicted of conspiring with a foreign nation, with Russia, in order to get this man elected. On top of the fact that he ran on a platform of, that included... Shit. That included... Most of the immigrants coming into America from Mexico are rapists and murderers, but there's some good ones too. Do you know how high that is on the racist conversation pyramid? There is literally someone prepared a chart of, like, at the bottom, people have, they speak in It's just, you know, the things that your uncle says that make you feel a little bit uncomfortable, but, you know, he's not racist, he's from an older generation. There's that shit, and then you go up the pyramid. Do you know how, like, how far up the pyramid of racist dialogue there's some good ones is, as a phrase? I know some good ones. I've got a black friend. You know how fucking, like, like how obvious who you are and what you're saying is at that point? I can't believe that American journalists and news stations kept the cameras pointed at him. I'm gonna do this again. Shit. You have fucked it up. God damn it. Alright. This is pretty much dead run now, isn't it? There you go. That's how you want it to happen. This is not a matter of, you know, let's wait and see. This is not a matter of, you know, make sure and get out and use the democracy that they are mindfully and willfully trying to take away from you while attacking American citizens in the streets. So that the president, so that an asshole politician can misuse his position and his authority to get a photo op in the hopes that that will bolster him in running for office again. We are beyond the point of vote. I would argue that we were beyond the point of vote quite a while ago. But we are well beyond the point of vote. It's been a damn long time since I showed up to one of these. I pop in for the title and I find that you've been dating someone and are back to advocating presidential murder. Also, it's really fucking weird seeing you play with abilities enabled. Welcome back, Hologram 1. Trump will be revered as a hero. What? Not great, he is gone. Losing the election would be more humiliating? No. I disagree. Losing the election is not enough. It's like, you know, it is the equivalent of saying, listen, this guy raped children over the course of like 20 years. We finally caught up to him. I think a 3-year prison sentence is adequate. I have no fucking faith in your democracy. I have no fucking, you know, oh, it would be more humiliating to him. Number one, I don't give a fuck about him. Okay? I don't give a fuck about the people who support him. The nation is so destroyed, fractured at this point that we need a strong fucking response. There is one response to fascism, and it is not vote. And this is coming to you from, you know, a Buddhist Zen monk. You cannot leave these kinds of crimes unaddressed. You cannot slap someone on the wrist for the level of human injustices, for the level of destruction of the people's everything that has gone on under this man's reign, which is what he is trying to turn it into, what he has always considered it from day one. He has attempted to rule over the American people rather to serve them, and he has done that. He has locked the door. His first fucking presidential action as soon as he got in. Locked the doors on anyone who looks Muslim, regardless of whether or not they are an American citizen. And it was not in response to, you know, credible terrorist activity outside of the country. It was something he had talked about doing while he was still on the campaign trail in order to get the votes of racists and Klansmen. And then he got in and he did it. That was his first major presidential action, was to bar his own citizens from entering the country if they had a certain tone of skin. That was the beginning. I don't think I have to convince anybody of the crimes of Donald Trump. You know, we are left, when he is gone, and he will be, when he is gone, we are left with a shattered, broken, destroyed fucking nation. the systems that we have relied substantively on, that we have chosen to believe, even, as the evidence was against them, had at least some solidity to them, some stability, that they could survive a Donald Trump. They did not survive a Donald Trump. The Department of Justice, the FBI, the FCC, the FTC, I would be here just saying I could just keep saying letters randomly, and I would not cover all of the wings of the government that are there to protect the rights and the safety of American citizens that have been torn apart, fractured, torn down, proven not to work, proven that if you've just got a big mouth and a lot of friends with money, it doesn't matter. We don't have a country anymore after this guy, We don't even have a vague idea. I played, as the opening song for this live stream, I played a tune, by Kevin MacLeod, because Kevin MacLeod's stuff is free to use, called Americana. Because that's all that's really left out there, is the bullshit idealism that never had any justification in the first place. We don't have a fucking nation at this point. We don't have a government. We don't have representatives of the people. I don't know what we have. But, everything needs to be taken back down and to task. Getting Trump out of office is nothing. It's nothing in terms of what we have to do, of the work that's before us now. And that's not going to get done. Under the two-party system, no fucking chance. We are as hopeless as we have ever been right now, and what this nation needs, if you ask me, is not love, sweet love. It is a single shot from a fucking grassy knoll. We need to, feel as though we live in a country of sane people who can see evil, determine, what it is, and react and respond. We need to believe that at the end of the day, if our systems aren't going to work for us, then we're going to work for us. That there will be people, that there are always people amongst us who are ready to do the work to protect, what other people like to sing songs about and pretend they give a fuck. Other people like to wrap themselves in a goddamn flag and get upset when somebody else burns it. There are people out here who actually give a shit. And if we're to believe that this nation is anything, that this nation isn't just going to turn into, basically a husk for corporate entities to run as they see fit, he needs to die. He needs to die, and he needs to die before the election. And that's kind of just that. It is what it is, damn it. I tried to do something there. It's fine, whatever. Your president saying grab him by the pussy was kind of the point. I gave up hope on this whole term going well. Hey, Poem, was that 1958-58 RTA or IGT? That is RTA. Isn't it? Let me just double check. That is RTA. We are watching RTA right now. And in fact, thank you for telling me that. We should be watching Game Time. That is the request of the moderators. AJ213 posted a notice on the Discord board for speedrunners saying, please, put IGT on screen because it's easier to confirm. So we should be watching IGT. By in-game time, I have an 18:47:72. But yes, that 1958-58 is the RTA time. RTA, Nitro Diamusk. RTA is real time. It is basically from the moment that I load in the first level to the moment that I press the final button on the last level. It's everything. IGT records simply the time that exists while I'm in the level. And when I hit those white level complete screens, it pauses the timer so that it doesn't record the time that it takes my computer to load the next level or how long it takes me to click the next level button. So that's the difference there, and you can see that the difference can be around a minute or more of time that gets lost to those white screens. And it is more and more important the longer that the run goes on. But even on the short ones, it's just important that we switch to IGT, which is something that we're in the process of right now. The moderators are doing on speedrun.com, because if you have a slightly faster computer, then every level out of 90 levels of this game, you could be saving, a fifth of a second over the next guy. So every 5 levels, you've saved a second over someone who could be speedrunning exactly as fast as you or even faster. So IGT is the only way to really measure the speed run where it's fair and competitive without relying on hardware to determine what time you can get. Everyone is beating my PB now. Damn it! This is Noah. I'm pulling. How's the logger? I didn't get it yet. I've been still busy, but thank you so much. Noah Craw prepared for me with his coding acumen something where I can watch Twitch chat and have the events next to them so that I can see what's happening as it's happening. Thank you so much for doing that, Noah. I will absolutely put it into use soon. But I've been chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool, all shooting some b-ball outside of the school. I've been taking it easy.
Does your shirt has a message, Big Brother?
This shirt was my dad sent it to me. My dad sent it to me from Florida in a pack of shirts that he thought that I'd, like or that were funny and that kind of thing. I literally picked it out today and, I grabbed it and opened it up and went, oh yeah, that'd be good. But it wasn't, mindful. But once I saw it, I was like, yeah, knowing what I'm going to talk about today. I mean, at this point, I know that there are legalities and illegalities and that there are definitely problems with terms of service agreements and platforms and things like that, but I don't know how we can live in a world much longer today. I don't think we can continue to go on without there being a broad and open conversation about the virtues of assassinating the President of the United States of America. If it's not important now, then it wasn't important when Hitler was coming to power in Germany. It wouldn't have made a difference. Do you think it wouldn't have made a difference? I mean, maybe it wouldn't have in Germany. I don't know what the situation was then, but we have all reflected at some point on, in reference to the Holocaust, all that it ever would have taken at any point throughout that was for one person in his inner circle to, one SS agent with a some sense of decency or morality to them to pull out the pistol and end it. And yes, there would have been structures and systems and other people, but cut off the head and 2 emerge. We can deal with 2 better. Cut off the head and it's chaos, Sun Tzu. I don't think that we can exist in a modern America where we don't have an open conversation about the virtue of, about the upsides and downsides, the pluses and negatives, to advocating the assassination of the President of the United States of America, by which I mean exclusively Donald Trump. I don't hate Donald Trump. I don't know Donald Trump. I never met Donald Trump. I hate everything that he represents, everything that he's doing. It's not about the man. I mean, it is. But, it's about the system that he is, that he embodies, It's what it comes down to. And the assault on the American people that has become literal, that has become, no argument literal as of 36 hours ago or so, but that has been going on since day fucking 1. Since before he was elected. The things that he was saying on his campaign trail were hate speech. And when a powerful voice speaks from a platform and a position of power, hate speech, people who are already in that direction, who are ready and willing to receive the message, hear it, and then commit hate crimes. I would love to see a map, a graph, a chart of reported hate crimes throughout his campaign cycle, and just see if there isn't like a dip followed by a large curve upward every time that he gave a speech. Because, like, to some people, it's something that they imagine, that you imagine that, you know, somewhere there's probably some redneck hillbilly fuck who's, you know, in a bar getting drunk and, you know, follows, you know, goes over to someone who looks Hispanic, who looks Mexican, and says, "Hey, what are you doing in this bar?" It's something that, you know, gladly, a lot of people just imagine. But it is something that other people, mainly, you know, people who are black and Hispanic and who are minorities in cultures and in civilizations and in states where racism and shit still flies, it's not a hypothetical. It's not an imagined thing. It's not something you see in the movies. People walking up to you and saying shit like, "What are you doing here? Stranger, what are you in here for?" You know? Making you feel like you're not supposed to be there. It's real. And, before he was even elected, the fact that the news media gave him time on nationwide television in order to sing hate speech, which you know that they did for the ratings, and that none of them, you know, or rare few of them, actually thought that this jackass was going to be elected. They are all responsible. Every fucking producer of every network news who gave this motherfucker time on the campaign trail and didn't have to. We don't have laws like you guys got in Europe that say everybody has to get fair and equal. Our laws are a lot more fucked up. And you know, when someone is speaking hate speech, you've got a lot of wiggle room within whatever the law is. Before he was elected, he was fracturing this country. He was encouraging violence in the street. He was creating racism and classism and sexism everywhere that he went and everywhere that he spoke. And then he came into power with the aid of Russia, with the aid of a number of people whom, you know, if there's anyone still out there on the other side of the aisle or on the, you know, any Trump supporters out there who want to say that he wasn't aided by Russia, you are living in a fucking delusional world. His son went on Twitter and admitted it openly. The FBI has caught and found and prosecuted half a dozen people from within his administration for colluding with Russia. They have pled guilty to charges of conspiracy against the people of the United States of America, and these were the people within his campaign. You say, well, Donnie wasn't involved in it. Oh, okay. Well, then I guess it doesn't matter that his people, his campaign, definitely colluded with Russia, colluded with a foreign state. I guess it doesn't matter because you claim that he had nothing to do with it. Interesting when a man who's asking to be the leader of an entire nation can't keep his own fucking house in order through an election cycle. You know, no matter how you want to sell that, your boy's fucked up. You want to pretend like Donnie didn't know anything about it, Donnie wasn't involved, fuck you. But if you do want to believe that, well then you have to admit that the captain didn't know how to steer the ship then, huh? Couldn't control his crew, even when it was his crew, right? He's either incompetent as a leader or a conspirator with a foreign nation against the interests of the American people. And that same conspirator is today out talking about how we need to prevent Americans from having access to the vote during a time of crisis with this pandemic by not doing voting by mail. Does he have another solution? No. Is he proposing anything? He was talking about it back in fucking February, March. He was talking about, you know, hey, maybe we should stop the election, you know, hold it off for it. So he was already thinking about, has he proposed a fucking solution to it that would protect every American citizen's right to vote? Because in terms of things that the President of the United States is responsible for, that'd be right up there, wouldn't it? Huh? Preserving the democracy, making sure that the federal election takes place. That'd be right the fuck up there. And he's doing exactly the opposite. He doesn't work for you, he doesn't serve you, he doesn't give a fuck about you. In fact, he's more than happy to sick men with sick Apache helicopters on crowds of American citizens peaceably protesting in front of the White House so that he can get a photo op. And it wasn't so he could get a photo op. It was in the hopes that the protesters would turn violent in response to the violence that was being directed at them, and then he could use that to roll tanks into the fucking cities of the United States of America. Do you not think that that's... Think about it. Think about it. He gives a speech. He talks about how if you don't get your shit together, if you don't control your people, I will roll out, military response. And then he rolls out military response on peaceful protesters just in front of the White House, showing them how it's done. So if the protesters turn violent against them, against the federal agents ordered to attack peaceful American citizens, ordered to attack American citizens on the streets of America by Donald Jackass Trump, what do you think is the next move? If he can't walk across the street and get his photo op, where do you think that was going to go? It was far more likely that the protesters turned violent and responded. The fact that they lowered, that they had Black Hawk helicopters or Apache helicopters, that they had a helicopter that low, I think they were fucking tempting them. Take a shot at the helicopter, start chucking shit up here. They had it so low. It was an attempt to provoke a crowd of American citizens to violence so that they could then use that act of violence to justify a military response. That is who we have in office right now. And if he wants to provoke a violent response, let's make our violent response precise and precision and take out the problem. Just the problem. Because otherwise we are going to end up leaving this responsibility on the shoulders of our soldiers and our police officers. I already have, it's up to you to name yourself if you want, but, in my Discord server, I'm seeing stories of officers who have come home and left their riot gear on the couch and said, I'm never putting it on again, I quit. There are members of this community in law enforcement, of our, of Ronin Pawn community, if you can call it that, who are actively seeking to lay down their badge at this point in time, and good on ya. But that said, we're fucked because of that. Because it's the same thing that's going on in the DOJ, the Department of Justice. The good people who have morals and conscience, when they see what's going on, they leave, because they're not going to take these orders anymore. So now you have a power vacuum, where you can load in more cronies, get everybody onto the same page. You create an environment so toxic that people of ethics and integrity cannot bear to be part of it, and they leave. And then, perfect. Now we can move in all the people who just, want a race war, or want to, help us, or, they want a race war, and we're going to manipulate that because what we want is a class war. What we want is to conquer via fucking corporate, whatever your agenda is. But, the lawyers of the DOJ are fleeing the fucking DOJ because they don't want... So what's left? Lawyers who don't have fucking, who don't have the backbone to say fuck you. And the same thing will happen in the military and in law enforcement. If this man is allowed to carry on as he has shown us that he means to, then you are laying at the feet of people who have put their lives on the line for you and your rights, and, in protection of an idea, of a belief, of wanting to live in a good world. You are laying the responsibility at their shoulders to basically turn around to their fellow soldiers and officers and say, not only am I not taking that order, but if you're taking that order, then you're going to have to go through me. That is where we are headed. And that can be averted with the cost of one 7.62 millimeter round, well placed. Something to bear in mind. Silence is condoning the situation. There are no neutral parties anymore, says Necrolo2. Necrolo2. I just don't think that we can live in a world where we don't at least have this conversation, and that's why I'm having it, even though, you know, it's definitely not a, it's not safe for me to have this conversation. It's not safe for me to take these positions openly, publicly, forwardly. But, you know, if that's the part that I can do, then that's the part that I can do. We can't not have a conversation about the threat and about the solution. I watch Legal Eagle on YouTube, and he's definitely liberal, but he, in all of his content, like, goes well out of his way to be as neutral as possible politically. You know, except for where it doesn't matter. That's how you know he's liberal, is he chooses pictures of the, you know, Trump, where, you know, shit like that. He chooses the smudge frames, but I mean, he goes well out of his way to be neutral in his analyses of political issues, of law issues, that sort of a thing. And I just watched Legal Eagle's coverage of what happened in front of the White House the other day. And at the end, he called. And maybe you could say that it was subtle, but he called for men and women of good conscience and goodwill within our police and our armed services to actively decide what orders they are going to take and what orders they are not going to take in coming days. You know, on the last live stream before this happened, I was saying, like, if you don't think about what orders you're receiving, and this before this happened, if you don't think about what orders you're receiving, you're going to wind up at fucking Nuremberg. You're going to wind up, you know, having to defend yourself for accepting those orders. And it will be, as it was in Nuremberg, that you are not exempt from prosecution because someone else told you to do it. You should have known not to do it. You know, it is at this point in history, in American history right now, where people find out whether or not they signed up to protect and serve a structure, or whether they signed up to protect and serve a people. Because the orders have already come down and are coming down to attack the people to serve a structure. And each individual who has made that sacrifice, that personal sacrifice, to put their life on the line and to give up their personal freedoms of choice. I have, you know, in the Zen Center, it was a strict caste system. Somebody said to do something, you might go internally, you might go, that's the stupidest fucking thing, that doesn't, we shouldn't do that. It's a waste of goddamn time. But you go, yes, sir. It is now going to come down to deciding which direction you point your weapon, you know? Because if everybody leaves, and you know, to those in our community, again, I'm not going to point fingers, but to those in our community who are trying to find their, I am not saying do not. I am saying I applaud, and yes, do, especially for your family. But there are going to have to be some who remain, and who do not just remain to be quiet, you know, I'll keep an eye on them and get information out people. No, there are going to have to be people who remain, and who, when the order comes down and the rank and line is formed in front of the American citizens with protest signs, who step forward out of line, turn around, and join that side. Who don't give up their rank, who don't give up their badge, who don't give up their weapon, and who choose who they're going to serve, what they actually got into it for. That's going to have to happen. Or one 7.62 millimeter round. During the right impromptu photo op. That's the choice we make as a country now. Boy, you gotta consider lower political positions and the police are political, generally follow the lead. Given the current president's position on the subject, they aren't hate crimes, they're patriotism. Yeah, I mean, there's no, is there any question that this political era that Trump being in office has been anything other than a backsliding? You know, if you have been around long enough or have studied modern American history to see riots in Detroit, in Oakland, California, Rodney King beating, they're like the things that have been so recently that have had to get so hot and hard and bad and horrible that people actually started doing things about them. And then things started to be done about them. And it's not as though enough was done or, you know, but like we were on a path to something, you know, all too slowly, if you ask me, but we were on a path to acknowledging maybe that regardless of the content of your pockets, of your wallet, and regardless of the color of your skin, of where you were born or what language you speak, which side of an imaginary line you happen to be raised on, that, hey, maybe we're all human beings and are all entitled to a decent fucking life. We were on our way there. If but all too fucking slowly. I can't say that things were getting too much better, but they weren't getting this much fucking worse. And here's the thing. This could be a blessing. You know? Things have to get really bad before things get really good. I'd say they're really bad now. You know, but if we waste it, if we don't see, if we choose not to see these problems, if we choose not to address them, if we leave the people in power, if we leave the fucking appointments of Donald Trump in the positions that they've been put in, if we leave his cronies where they are, if we leave the Republican corporatists in control of the FCC, of the DOJ, of the FTC, of the FDA. Then it doesn't matter whether we vote him out of office. We will be rebuilding from this for 30, 50 years. Like people, when they said, you know, at the beginning of this thing, I know, you know, we've got a lot of you are European in this audience, and you've exposed me to a whole bunch of shit that I didn't know about. And it's been great. Like, I feel like my worldview is so much larger because of such a wide audience. At the beginning, a number of people were saying, you know, I feel like between Donald Trump and Brexit is the big deal. Because we're going to be 50 years, you know, recovering from Brexit, from what this means culturally and what it means, you know, governmentally and nationally and our relationship with Europe. This is a huge thing. And I agreed with them that Brexit was a bigger deal than Trump. He's just one guy, you know, he's just one asshole who managed to slip into the system, but the system can handle that. The system didn't handle it. It can't handle it. It's falling apart. It has crumbled. It has crumbled in all the most important places. They now have control of the Department of Justice, which means basically, you know, Donald Trump can choose who and what to prosecute. Because his friend, who he appointed, isn't in there, and willing to do whatever Donnie wants him to. Driving out the people who are supposed to be, you know, prosecuting federal crimes. The people who try people like, you know, election commissioners and senators and the people who try big corporate horrible sons of bitches. And they're driving out all the lawyers who do that job. by forcing them to not do that job. The fundamental structure of our whole government is a shambles. And at the beginning of this thing, I agreed. Brexit is bigger than Trump. And at this point, I think Trump is bigger than Brexit. I think Brexit is something that, as it rolled forward, it, people's view, even the people who voted for it, their view was like, I wish I hadn't. Trump has awakened a sleeping demon. Not a sleeping giant, a sleeping demon of us-them mentality. Manipulation of a populace into a mindset that enables human rights violations and war crimes. And I'm sure he'd be really happy to hear that, make his 1.5 inches of flaccid dick feel a little bit bigger to hear that Trump's bigger than Brexit, but I think he is. I think his impact in America has been. If we get him out of there today, it ain't near over. The number of things that were broken in our government before we got to where we are standing right now, we don't have time to address any of those. I don't know where we go from here. If one man's influence over a government can destroy from inside so much, if he goes, there are still too many things, too many people in place that he put in place to actually have a functioning government, to have any belief in this nation in any way. In my opinion, anyway. But that's why I think we have to be able to have this fucking conversation. That's why we need to be able to discuss what is most appropriate. Because it's not even about whether or not, we get Trump out now or we get him out in 3 months from now, and it wouldn't, if he gets reelected, I'll take care of it myself if it comes to that. But it's not even about that. It's about, what it would mean to the American psyche, to the broader culture, to how the world looks at us. For Americans to take care of this problem in the most expedient manner, as well as the most just. Elect him in, elect him out. I don't think so. You'll then have Pence and Mitch McConnell for 3 months. But I've been talking about that for the past 15 minutes now, is that, it doesn't, but Pence and Mitch McConnell, what does that fucking matter? That's two more little, figureheads. The problem is the cronies that have been put into positions and undermined, entire wings of the federal government that have been put there to protect rights and safeties and just to preserve, to care for the American citizenry. The FDA should be an administration that, sees whether or not drugs are safe before they go out, and sees whether or not, if there's an issue around food, tracks that fucking supply chain down and says what went wrong, and here's a big fucking fine, and we'll be looking for it next time. Don't fuck up again because we'll hit you harder next time. The FDA is a shell of itself. And we got a country, we've got a federal organization that's supposed to, make sure that if somebody somewhere in the world shoves something in a bottle and sells it for $29.99 as a miracle cure for, whatever, and people over here start taking it and buying it, and start getting sick and dying and they step in, you know? If food starts getting produced in a way that's it's dangerous, then they're supposed to step in and do something. The FDA is a fucking shell. How can we live in a country where we don't have that tiny level of something to protect us from, you know, corporate entities who, you know, might see that it's cheaper to do it. You know, I could save 2 cents per unit if we do it this way. And some people will get sick. Some people might die. But the FDA is a shell of its, you know, of what it's meant to be. It just processes paperwork at this point. And that is just, you know, one small example of like everything as it stands in this nation now. And it's not just that way because of Trump. It's been getting that way more and more. But at this point, now we've got so many of Trump's cronies, so many people who conspired with Trump, who conspired with Russia. And at some point, you know, there is a national security concern of who do these people actually work for. And far more than I would go down the rabbit hole of, you know, Russian spies, which, make no doubt, there are a number of Russian spies in our government. There's a number of American spies in Russian government. Where I would, you know, where my concerns lie, and have always lied, is the corporate overthrow of America. Because for every agency that keeps the letters out in front of the door but fires all of its staff and gets defunded and can't afford it anymore, but they still are technically operating, and then that, you know, conservative corporate friendly politicians then come on and say, see, this is why you can't have the government running these systems. They look at how shitty they do it. Look at how wasteful they are. Look, they can't even make a, you know, USPS used to be able to make a profit. They have gutted these buildings, these systems, the things that are supposed to be there to protect us from these greater powers than any individual American citizen, these giant corporate entities that have the same rights as a citizen due to some fucked up shit that I could tell you stories about. They gutted them, and then they point to them and say, see, they don't work. They're tearing them apart from the inside out. The things that we, the people, put there to benefit us, to care for us. They gut them, and then they say, see, they don't work, you should vote against them. And at the end of the day, what we're left with is privatized prisons, privatized healthcare system, privatized, you know, the USPS. They're clearly trying to set that up for like, yeah, that's why we should just let UPS and FedEx and maybe some others handle this. By the way, UPS and FedEx, they ship me something, takes like 8 to 10 days. When it comes straight via USPS, it's here in 3. And costs less. As they tear out the guts of our governmental structures, they secure contracts for themselves and their friends to make hundreds of billions of dollars by robbing the American people. That is my concern. And the cronies that have been put in place by the Trump administration, you know, there's no function by which to remove them. There's no, you know, Trump goes out, like, what you need is to elect someone who would come in and then fire all of them and replace them. But when they do that, it will be seen as a political party lines move. It will not be seen as, you know, sweeping the house and repairing. There's just, our whole system is so fucked, there is no unfucking it. And that being like the reality of it, not being able to fix what is broken, damn, wouldn't it feel good to have that win? That one little win of turning on the TV and seeing shots rang out today at the White House. I don't know if we have much more than that at this point. They defund regulatory agencies until they can't operate effectively, then point at the ineffectiveness and use it as a reason to eliminate it entirely. Yeah. And then because they've defunded the regulatory agencies, they can no longer operate the way that they're supposed to, which means, yeah, they win the first battle, and then they win the second battle, and then they win the war. The first battle is gut the regulatory agency so it can't do its job, which means now we can, our corporate friends can operate unilaterally and do what they want to do. And then, step 2 is point at that regulatory agency and say, see, they're not doing their job. We need to rely instead on the, private market. The private market, blah, 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 free market regulates itself. And then step 3 is just shut it down. They gut it and then pretend like it never worked in the first place, like it was a bad idea, even though they've been throwing fucking wrenches into the gears since day one, and then, try and sell it as though the whole philosophy is flawed. I do not genuinely believe that America can be saved anymore. I don't know if I do either. I have thought in recent days that that where this all ends up heading is that we end up with probably 3 to 5 countries. California breaks off and takes a couple of states with it, and the Northeast breaks off and takes a couple of states with it, and maybe Canada takes some of its territories back, because God knows there's a lot of us who would be like, please, for the love of God, Canada. I would love to be a Canadian citizen right now, but I don't know where this goes. It's either America becomes the proof of concept and staging ground for corporatism to show that if we work hard enough, long enough, and, be evil enough, then we can break an entire nation's government from within, take it over, and, turn it into a corporate government. Either this nation becomes the staging point for the assault on the rest of the world by the ruling class, elite who have all the money and have just, they've existed so long thinking that they're the rulers of the universe that they believe it. Either that happens, or this country fractures under the weight of, under the recognition that it doesn't work. That it isn't working, and that the changes that we need in order to make it work are changes that none of the parties and the players involved are willing to make. And what you end up doing is just, splitting the country off into pieces. So that some people, so that you can basically rebuild everything from scratch. There is only so long that you can put duct tape on anything to hold it together. Eventually, you've got to throw the whole fucking thing out and build a new one, or take the few pieces that are still holding together and build up from there, but most of it's gotta go. And the amount of changes that either the Democratic Party or the Republican Party, and I will make a distinction between the Republican Party and Donald Trump that I shouldn't, that I certainly am not obliged to. You chose him. You let him carry your flag. You've sort of changed your tone to match his in a lot of ways. And there's a lot of individual Republicans who have come out saying, this is not my president, and I do not agree with this, and this party is starting to not be my party anymore. But, I will make that, just for devil's advocate, say that, even the Republican Party, as separate from what the Trump administration has meant, and the Democratic Party, neither of these entities are willing or interested in the slightest to make the kind of changes that we would need to hold this together, to keep it going. I mean, we're literally, it's 2020, we're having an argument over whether or not there should be an election, whether or not the rights of the people to be able to vote in that election need to be upheld, first and foremost, even if it means that there's a possibility of some voter abuse. Like, what's more important? Making sure that a couple of false votes get in, or making sure that 300 million American citizens have an opportunity to vote? Seems like a really obvious scale to me. Which one's more important? But we're having that conversation in 2020. Our democracy does not work. This version of representative democracy has failed utterly. It has been in a state of failure for a good long time, but there is no argument left that it isn't. Can it be repaired? Not by the Democratic or Republican parties. Because it works for them. Not for us. Not for the people. But it works for the party. They make a lot of money. They got a lot of friends in industry. There's a lot of things that go on through these parties that are not specifically governmental and regulatory. People make a lot of fucking money off of being in the Democratic and in the Republican Party. It is a club. It is a country club for rich fucking sadists to get together and decide how they're going to move you on their chessboard. To literally come together and decide, okay, well, what do we think, the NASCAR dads and, the housewives in Peoria will, this is what we want them to do. How do we get them to do that? What's the marketing campaign? What's the message? What bullshit line do we have to do? We want to forward a bill that takes away, your fucking rights to protest, apparently. What do we call it? How about, Protesters Freedom Act? Oh, good, because that sounds like we're doing exactly the opposite of what we're doing. We could probably sell that to Peoria. That's the kind of fucking conversations they have. Like, what we need to happen will not happen through the establishment structures of the Democratic or Republican Party, and no one in this country en masse is ready to vote for anyone but them. So how do we get out? I do have a plan. It involves boats, and like a visa, green card. Because basically this ship is going down. I don't... You want to get out? Then get out physically. Because I don't see what happens from here to pull it back. The idea that, but we can rally together if we just come out and vote him out of office, and then we can get it back on track, and it'll be slow and tedious and monotonous, but maybe we'll get there. Yeah. That all sounds good, except for, all of the work that we have done against all of the societal ills and governmental, the problems that we've faced as a country, just in the past 100 years, all of that work that we did slow, grindingly, just to make it a little bit better, just to make it a little bit better, just to make it a little bit better, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, and then Donald Trump, and it's just all gone. We're back to, 60 years ago. 40 years worth of slow grinding, trying to make it a little bit better. One guy comes along, rallies up the fucking, racist, nationalist, misogynist douchebags of the nation, dupes them, because again, they're playing chess with you. What's the message that we sell? What would they buy? What could we push? What kind of dirt can we get on the other guys? Let's not sell them us. Let's sell them that the other guys are fucked up. They got to vote for us because they're worse, which is what they both do, incidentally. Both sides of this party, or of this two-party system. I can't help but see the coverage and opinion pieces, op-ed pieces about what happened in front of the White House the other day that end with the call to vote, and I can't help but see the fucking... that it's... You're saying, vote for the Democrats. Like, it's not intentionally politicized. We're just trying to get him out, and whatever we'd have to do to get him out, fair enough kind of thing. But it's there. It's there. It's not a fucking solution. That doesn't get us out. That's one bucket of water. And, the top deck is 3 feet covered by the shit. We are sinking. And it's like, you put the Democrats in power again... you might be able to feel a little bit better about the way things are as we continue to sink. And then we can restart that process of the slow, tedious grind. It moves slowly. You gotta, but things do get better until we get another charismatic fucking wannabe Nazi who pushes us back 60 years, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. Yeah, this is not the information age, but a misinformation age, says Nitro DMs. It doesn't matter that you're good, it matters that the other person is worse, yes. And that's what they were relying on when they ran Hillary against Trump. I think they felt like they didn't even have to work for it. Because Trump's Trump. Who could fucking vote for him? And here we are again with Biden versus Trump. And what is the big argument for Biden? What's he going to do? What's he going to change? What's his big plan? What are the reparations that he's going to do? Like, tell me about the DOJ. Tell me about the FBI. Tell me about securing American democracy. Tell me about pushing new laws through. Tell me about, are we going to do something about the Second Amendment? Because we got a big fucking gun control issue. Talk to me about police violence. Talk to me about health care. What's the plan? What's Joe going to do? Joe's going to not be Trump. Vote for him is what it is. He's not Trump. So we don't get anything. But we get not Trump. And the Democrats get power. And get to just do whatever they want to do. Which is nothing, apparently. They haven't done much in a while, They did Obamacare. That was piss on a fire. Piss on a house fire. I mean, I don't know about you. I don't follow the news. I'm not chasing politics. I expect them to come to me. Bernie fucking found me. Bernie Sanders' voice and what he was saying, it came to me. Because he was out there, he was saying it, he was making waves, and I didn't find Bernie. Bernie found me. I'm not going to go chase Joe fucking Biden. So, Joe, what have you got to say that's going to make waves, that's going to make me interested as a voter? If we weren't on the verge of a new American Holocaust with Trump in office, would you have a platform? Would you be talking about these issues? Would you? Because it hasn't gotten back to me. I imagine you're out there talking about them, but so was Obama. Before we got Obamacare. Obama was talking about healthcare and how we needed to change it, and it needs to be repaired. And I said, how? And he said, I gotta go. And I said, well, then I'm not voting for you. Because it was an important issue to me, and if he wasn't willing to say what his ideas were, then, his ideas probably aren't good. So I'm sure Joe is out there saying we need change for healthcare, and we need change for this, and we need change for that. But, can you convince me? Instead of just being the not as bad guy? Does anyone see that? Seems to me the whole campaign platform of Joe Biden is I'm not Donald Trump. And I will be happy to see him win so that we don't have Donald Trump anymore. But it is nonetheless indicative of where we are as a nation politically and governmentally that's what we've got. That's all we've got to bring now. That's what it is. It's what's been every election cycle in my life. Democrats won't run somebody who actually stands for something. Republicans run somebody who stands for all the fucking wrong things. That want to weird fucking thing, conservatism. I mean, that side of the aisle anyway, because, when you just bundle it all up and look at it across the room, it's like, we believe in states' rights, individual rights, keep the government out of our backyards. And oh yeah, by the way, we want to restrict abortion. We want to, the ways that they want to tell you how to live and what morality is. They want the government to have the right to murder people with capital punishment, but they want Uncle Sam out of their backyards, out of their pockets, states' rights. So you want to give the government the legal ability to murder people. But you don't want them to have the ability to tax you? You don't trust the government to run schools. We want the schools should be private because the private market will do the education better. You don't trust them to educate your children, but you trust them to kill American citizens. We don't want them running the prisons. We don't want them running the, the healthcare. These should be privatized. The free market will take care of that. But they should have a say-so in what happens inside a woman's uterus. It's such a weird cobbling together of just whatever you want to believe, and I have to believe that they picked it up in, the modern incarnation of Christian churches, because those are really kind of just tell you what you want to hear already places, aren't they? Doesn't matter that it doesn't hang together, doesn't matter that this piece doesn't connect with that piece, that these two kind of ideas are diametrically opposed, and it's kind of hard to hold both of them at the same time, because it's a Christian church, and it's just here to make you feel good. And then that's seeped into their politics. Difficult to campaign in the middle of a health crisis that tells us we shouldn't be in crowds. I don't know how Biden will be able to campaign. I mean, if he was saying anything that was of meaning, then the news would cover it, You'd hear about it. You don't have to be fucking, especially in this world, you don't have to be standing on the back of a goddamn train waving to people and handing out fucking buttons and stickers. If you have a message of significance, then, it gets out there. You say something that, intrigues people, and social media and YouTube, other people will start talking about what you're talking about, or talking about the fact that you're talking about it. I have not had the words Joe Biden in my YouTube feed ever. And, I think that's all to plan, isn't it? They're just relying on keeping his profile low and letting Trump sink himself, which worked so good for running Hillary instead of Bernie. God, that worked out really good. Just pick the more banal, not going to say anything, not going to make any positions, not going to make any campaign trail promises, not going to tell you that this is what I'm going to do for you. And if at the end of the first 4 years that you elected me, I haven't done it, then I will walk away. You kick me out. Not going to make anything like that. I'm just going to be here as, the other option. And you can decide whether or not to choose the rank pile of shit or, me. Unflavored tofu. Unseasoned, undressed tofu on a small gray plate. What do you want? And I'll take the tofu, as will we all, quite happily. But, it's always been that. It's going to be that this election cycle, it was last election cycle before that, and election cycle before that. It's a them against us. It's a, don't vote for me. Vote against him. Because if you were voting for me, I'd have to actually represent something. I'd have to tell you where I'm coming from, what I believe in, what I want to do, the changes that I would like to make, how I would seek to represent your interests if given power. Then you'd know. If I'm just the other guy, then once I get into power, I can just do whatever the fuck I want. And say, that I'm representing your interests regardless. Even though I never really gave you the opportunity to choose me based on representing your interests. What did you think about the Obama administration, says Nitro DMs? I thought it was, it's good. It's good. It's fine. It was fine. I didn't vote for him in the first one. I voted for him in the second one, though under, I would say, duress. But, the overall administration, in any administration, whether it's 4 years or 8 years, you can usually find a number of things to point to and say, isn't that a war crime? Or, things along those lines. But, it was fine. Not a lot of forward progress, not a lot of backward progress. Or rather, we didn't fall back too much. We did push forward a little bit. My biggest, most angering thing about, how I felt about Obama was Obamacare, that it was the tiniest little of releasing the steam pressure that had built in the American populace leading up to that election for healthcare reform. You couldn't do nothing at that point. You know? All of America, both sides, no matter what color tie you like to listen to, was angry about healthcare. You couldn't do nothing at that moment in American history. This election cycle, something had to happen about healthcare. And what happened was just the tiniest amount of pressure relief to just let things keep going the way that they've kind of always gone. You know, with a bill and a set of proposals that kick in, you know, well, the big part kicks in 16 years from now. Okay, so 4 more presidential administrations later, you think that's still going to be on the books? 4 more Congresses, 4 more Senates that can overturn the... You think, okay. No, that was, you know, things that we need in there to say that we tried so that we can sell that to our voter base. But it's going to take so long to kick in that you guys will be able to vote them out when you guys are in power. Those kind of fucking negotiations, it was meaningless, you know? There were things that were good. I know people whose, like, lives were saved potentially because Obamacare was there. It was a good, tiny, infinitesimally small inching forward toward what we needed to do. But because it was that, it spent the political capital of the people's will for change on some candy bars and chips, you know? We needed a fucking Thanksgiving dinner, and you brought back Ruffles and Snickers. The Clinton strategy, be as boring and useless as possible. That will get us votes. How you doing, Rowan, says Dust Postman? Well, we got a new PB today. This is the IGT time showing, but RTA was 1957. It's sub 20 minutes, 1958.58. I got my sub 20 time, and we did some more running, and then I ranted for a bit more. I ended up just going off on this, because, like, I don't know, like, is there anyone here who thinks that America isn't, you know, people have been saying for a long time this country is circling, you know, the bowl, the drain, you know, somebody flush. But does anybody think that we're anywhere but, like, if here's the bowl, like right here? Like right now we're just doing that little spinny thing at the top before the suction grabs. It's like we're done. Like that's over, right? Now we're just completely at the bowl and we're doing that little rotatey thing just before enough water goes down to... I wanted to believe that like coronavirus was actually hope. You know, that the way that it threw our society, our structure, our government, our assumptions, everything, you know, and all of the powers that be into chaos. That there's hope there, you know. You shake up the corporate control, the infrastructure, the power, just people who are already running shit, and then everything gets loose, and, you know, the stock markets are, oh God, and, you know, people don't know how much money they're going to have, and panic, and things like that. I thought that was good, you know, on that larger, broader, macroeconomic, like, global scale. It's, like, good. We needed something to shake it up, and there's still a part of me that, like, believes that this is good too. You know, we got a pandemic and we've got Trump opening fucking fire on the American public in a very literal way with rubber bullets today. Let's see what happens tomorrow. Sending our own, you know, military forces against us in the streets. Well, we are peacefully protesting things that we should already have been shooting about. There's a part of me that still thinks it's good. Because, as I say, it has to get worse before it gets better. And this is getting really fucking bad. But my problem right now is that I don't see how this ends up somewhere good. You know? Like, I can't construct a logical pattern of events where this shaking up of everything and pissing off of people actually rolls out to something positive. I can't see it. And that being said, maybe that's why today I find myself sitting here saying, wouldn't it at least feel good to turn on the TV and see the news report? Today, a Secret Service agent entered the Oval Office, drew his pistol, and stood up for the American people. Because it's kind of like, you know, if the best we can get is a warm, fuzzy feeling of retribution, at this point, I don't know. Maybe that's enough justification in and of itself, and I think it is. On a nationwide conscious level, just the consciousness of America as a whole. To me, right now, it would say all the right things. It would say that, you know, we somehow elected a man who wants to be Stalin. But we caught it early enough and we took fucking care of it. But I don't know how we back out of this. I don't know how anything ends up being good. So now that I've depressed the shit out of you, join me back here again on another live stream with Ronan Pawn and Speedrun and the Clustertruck at the end of American society. Thanks everybody for coming out. I will be trying to live stream more in future now that I've got a girlfriend. But I'm going to try and make time to be here every other day or so. So look for another live stream. Make sure to follow if you haven't here on Twitch. I've got a YouTube channel, youtube.com/RonanPawn. You know, this month's book on audio. I don't. Thanks for coming out, everybody. Just try and keep your chin up and look out for the fucking man. He's coming for you. Go on out.